As we wrap up the holiday season and look ahead to a brand new year, many of us are thinking about how to feel lighter, happier, and more grounded in 2026. But this time of year can also bring some emotional challenges, from the post-holiday blues to seasonal affective disorder, and even the pressure of setting those picture-perfect New Year's resolutions. Today, we are so lucky to have someone who can help us navigate all of that with clarity and compassion. Joining us is Amanda Paul, a behavioral health specialist with Humana, here to share insight on what it really looks like to take care of ourselves mentally and physically as we head into the brand new year. Thanks for joining us.
I'm so glad to be here.
Of course, towards the tail end of the year, we're kind of have all these big hopes of what 2026 is going to bring us, and then January 1st can come around and they're like, oh, nothing feels different, and they think it's going to like turn a flip on a switch. So how can people kind of navigate this time?
You know, I think that New Year's, we put so much pressure on that day to be some miracle cure for everything. You know, on that day, I'm going to do the very best I can for my health. I am going to do the very best that I can at my job, the very best I can in my relationships. And that is just an intense amount of pressure.
Yeah.
And so my suggestion that I talk about with my clients all of the time is really stop getting these big grand ideas, or stop looking for the big ways. Like the big one that I hear all the time is, I want to be healthier in 2026.
Right.
That's a very, very broad goal and could involve a lot of different things. So my suggestion is very often to look for little micro opportunities. Like, think about something that you're already really good at. If you are really good at making sure as soon as you get up, you drink that glass of water that you're supposed to have, but you're horrible about remembering to take your vitamins, which are going to make you healthier, your doctor wants you to take them, you can actually connect the habit of drinking your glass of water with your vitamins.
Yep.
You put your vitamins in the cabinet where you grab your glass to drink your glass of water in the first thing in the morning, and that helps you to immediately establish a success with a habit that you already have. Habits and resolutions are really about being consistent.
Yeah.
It's something that we do on a consistent basis. So if you already do something successful, building upon that can give you some early wins in being able to set those resolutions. I think taking your vitamins feels a lot more manageable than I'm going to be healthier in 2026.
Right. And there's so many different aspects of what healthy looks like for people.
Absolutely.
Too. So how powerful are our mental state and our physical health? How are they really connected?
You know, I think that it's really important to consider your whole self when you think about health. We really can't manage our physical health without taking into account our mental health, and vice versa. You know, when we treat physical health conditions, when you think about someone who has a chronic health condition or chronic pain, we really have to consider the mental health impact of that condition, and really making sure that we're doing what we need to take care of that person's mental health. Additionally, with mental health conditions, we see a lot of physical health symptoms. When we're feeling really overwhelmed and stressed, we get headaches, we have muscle tension, our stomach hurts, we just don't feel good. And so it's really important to kind of clue in to what's happening, because sometimes the physical symptoms are our first warning signs that something is not quite right with our mental health. And so it can be really important to clue into what's happening and be talking to your providers about it, so you can take some steps early to make sure that you're managing things well.
A lot of people, you know, get together with family during this time of year. So now we're kind of experiencing those post-holiday blues. So how do we kind of navigate that period?
I think it's really important to normalize that the holiday season is stress-filled, super busy, and not normal.
Yeah.
Like, we have to normalize that the holidays are not normal.
Right.
You know, we are spending money that we sometimes don't have. We are doing lots and lots of social things that we don't always do. There's a lot of expectations maybe that we're having to navigate. So ease back into normal everyday life. I think it can be really helpful to just get back into your routine, making sure that you're getting back to sleeping when you should be, instead of staying up late like you were during during the holidays, or maybe backing off on some of the celebration foods and drinks and get back to drinking your water and taking your vitamins. You know, getting back into that normal routine and really just taking it one step at a time and giving yourself grace as you navigate what can seem like a long stretch of cold, dark, lonely times, and making sure that we're still intentionally connecting with people even after the holidays. Part of what we like about holidays is that connection with other people. So make sure that you're being intentional about connections that bring you joy even after the holidays, getting together for coffee or scheduling time to have a telephone conversation with you who you love can be a really good way to get those feel-good feelings from the holidays to last on into the new year and some of the harder times of the winter months.
Yeah, well, speaking of hard times during the winter months, I personally have this. I get so sad that it gets darker so soon.
Oh, yes,
Oh my
absolutely.
gosh, sometimes I get home at, you know, it could be 5 o'clock and the sun's basically down. I want to go to bed. There's still so many hours in the day.
Yes, and there is a psychological and physiological component to that. You know, there's less sunshine, so there's less opportunity for vitamin D. Vitamin D helps regulate our sleep cycles. There's a lot of components to that. So it's really important that you think about how to care for yourself in the dark times, you know, when it's dark and you feel like you don't have enough time because it's time to go to bed at 4 p.m. You know, it's just really important to make sure that you're continuing to stick to your routines, that you're continuing to be intentional about the things that bring you joy, and keep a really good routine to make sure that you don't just go to bed at 4 p.m. And sleep on until the morning. So,
and then you just add that additional pressure on you.
So much pressure. So my suggestion is to keep a normal routine even when it's challenging to do so that there's far less pressure when the sunshine comes back. You might be more productive when the sunshine comes back because you'll be able to do more things, but it won't be such a push and a drive and a pressure.
Yes, but it is on the way, so I cannot wait for the warmer temperatures to come back. But we have to be happy now. We have to kind of utilize this time and maybe form even new connections too.
Absolutely.
Amanda, thank you so much for taking the time. These were some really great tips. So if you're interested in learning more, just head over to humana.com.